You are standing at the edge of a lush tropical rainforest on the island that, tens of thousands of years from now, people will call Sumatra. The air is thick with humidity, heavy with the scent of damp earth and rotting leaves. You've spent the entire day tracking a deer through the dense forest. Your family is waiting for you. Your stomach twists with hunger. Then, the ground beneath your feet erupts into violent tremors. Almost at the same moment, a deep, thunderous roar rolls across the horizon. It doesn't sound like thunder. It's lower, heavier, so powerful that you don't just hear it, you feel it vibrating inside your chest. As if the earth itself has begun to awaken. You look up. The sky is no longer blue. A towering wall of black and gray is swallowing the sun, racing across the horizon, faster than any storm you've ever witnessed. In the distance, a colossal column of ash rises nearly 40 kilometers into the atmosphere before spreading outward like a gigantic mushroom cloud. It's Toba. This isn't an ordinary volcanic eruption. It's a planetary-scale catastrophe. Within moments, billions of tons of sulfur gases and unimaginable amounts of volcanic ash are blasted high into the atmosphere. This is the beginning of one of the most devastating natural disasters in Earth's history. In an astonishingly short time, the rainforest around you transforms into a living nightmare. Far beyond the island, over the following days and weeks, the expanding ash cloud blankets much of South Asia before spreading across vast regions of the planet. Then something strange begins to fall from the sky. It looks like snow. Gray flakes drift silently through the trees until the entire forest turns pale. But this isn't snow. It isn't cold. Each grain is coarse, heavy, sharp enough to burn your skin the moment it touches you. You stretch out your hand and catch the falling ash. In that instant, you understand something terrifying. This is no longer a battle against predators or hunger. It's a fight to keep your entire species from disappearing from the earth. And right now, the choices you make will determine whether you survive, or whether all that's left of you will be a skeleton buried beneath meters of volcanic ash. The first challenge arrives almost immediately. Thirst. You race toward the stream you've visited countless times before, but the crystal-clear water is gone. In its place is a thick gray slurry that looks almost like wet cement. Sulfur gases released into the atmosphere dissolve into rainwater, creating acid rain. Meanwhile, volcanic ash blankets rivers and streams, contaminating nearly every freshwater source and turning it into something dangerously unsafe to drink. Drink it, and you risk poisoning, chemical burns throughout your digestive system, or life-threatening illness. Don't drink, and dehydration could kill you within just a few days. Around you, massive elephants collapse beside poisoned watering holes after drinking the contaminated water. Thousands of years later, geologists would discover layers of Toba ash up to 6 meters thick in India, more than 2,000 kilometers away. That means there is nowhere to hide. No matter how far you run, the ash keeps coming. Each breath becomes another gamble. Microscopic shards of volcanic glass burrow deep into your lungs, triggering inflammation and turning every inhale into agony. Eventually, your lungs begin to fill with fluid. You could suffocate. In the middle of a land already dying of thirst. Now you have a choice. Stay and risk being buried alive beneath endless waves of ash, or leave everything you've ever known and walk into the darkness. Within weeks, Earth changes color. Green becomes gray. Gray becomes white. Gigantic sulfur clouds wrap themselves around the planet, blocking most of the sunlight that once sustained life. Welcome to the volcanic winter. Global temperatures plunge by dozens of degrees. Tropical rainforests wither and die. Herds of grazing animals collapse as fresh vegetation disappears. And when the great herbivores vanish, the predators begin searching for something else to hunt. Your tribe. Now imagine waking up every morning, not to sunlight, but to the same dull gray sky. Year after year, the sun appears only as a faint disk struggling to shine through a permanent veil of ash. This is where the real battle begins. Not a desperate sprint away from falling ash, but a relentless war against hunger, freezing temperatures, and despair that never seems to end. As forests die, game animals disappear, and clean water becomes increasingly scarce. Every sunrise becomes another gamble with death. One wrong decision, one failed hunt, one unexpected storm could mean the end of your entire tribe. Many scientists believe this may also have been one of the greatest population bottlenecks in human evolution. Genetic evidence suggests that the breeding population of Homo sapiens may have fallen to only a few thousand individuals worldwide. If that hypothesis is correct, then the future of our entire species rested on the survival of just a handful of people. Had they failed, the story of Homo sapiens might have ended more than 70,000 years ago. Every human civilization, every language, every city, every invention, every piece of music, every scientific discovery would have vanished before they ever had the chance to exist. You, your family, everyone you have ever known, would have represented the last fragile hope of humanity. If your small group disappeared, there would be no civilization, no agriculture, no pyramids, no space exploration, no internet, no one left to remember that humans had ever existed. So why didn't that happen? Why are we still here? The answer may lie in one extraordinary ability: our capacity to adapt. When forests stopped providing food, our ancestors looked somewhere few others could: the coastline. While plants on land withered and large game animals became increasingly rare, the oceans continued producing life. Powerful ocean currents kept marine ecosystems alive even as much of the land collapsed. Seafood became humanity's last dependable food source. Many researchers believe that coastal regions, particularly along southern Africa, may have served as critical refuges during this difficult period. Warm ocean currents helped prevent these coastlines from freezing completely. Our ancestors gradually moved closer to the sea, not because it was safer, but because it still offered food. Unlike forests, the ocean didn't depend directly on sunlight reaching the forest floor. Rocky shores and tidal pools still held oysters, mussels, shellfish, crabs, and fish, natural emergency food reserves that required far less competition than hunting giant mammals across a dying continent. But seafood offered more than calories. It provided nutrients such as omega-3 fatty acids and iodine, both essential for healthy brain function. Scientists continue to debate exactly how important this coastal diet was, but many believe it may have supported the long-term development of the human brain during our evolution. More importantly, life itself demanded a different way of thinking. Instead of relying only on instinct, people had to plan ahead. They learned to set traps instead of chasing exhausted prey for days, to preserve food whenever they could, to store supplies in dry caves for the months when ash darkened the sky and hunting became nearly impossible. Toba didn't magically make humans more intelligent overnight, but it may have become one of the harshest tests our intelligence had ever faced. In a world buried beneath ash, the tribes that survived weren't always the strongest. They were the ones that planned better, shared food, protected their fire, and worked together instead of facing disaster alone. Across countless generations, those survival strategies became something much greater, the foundation of what would eventually make Homo sapiens different from every other human species. The ability to cooperate on a scale no other species had ever achieved, to share knowledge, to pass down experience, and to survive disasters that no individual could overcome alone. Ironically, Toba tried to destroy us with ash, cold, and starvation. Instead, it may have helped shape the very qualities that would one day allow us to conquer the planet. But we weren't alone. 74,000 years ago, Homo sapiens shared the Earth with other human species. In Europe lived the Neanderthals. Across large parts of Asia lived the mysterious Denisovans. They were stronger than we were, more heavily built, better adapted to cold climates long before Mount Toba erupted. Yet today, only one human species remains. Why? The answer probably wasn't raw strength. It may have been something far more powerful: cooperation. Neanderthals survived the Toba eruption too. In fact, they continued living for tens of thousands of years afterward. But eventually, they disappeared. Meanwhile, Homo sapiens spread across every continent on Earth. No one knows exactly why, but one idea continues to gain support among archaeologists and anthropologists. Our ancestors built larger, more connected social networks. Archaeological evidence suggests that Homo sapiens exchanged stone, pigments, shells, and tools over distances stretching hundreds of kilometers. These weren't just trading routes. They were lifelines. When one region ran out of food, when drought struck, or when disaster destroyed an entire landscape, people could move toward neighboring groups. They could exchange food, share resources, learn new survival techniques, and help each other endure hardships that would have wiped out isolated communities. Perhaps this was humanity's greatest advantage. Not sharper teeth, not stronger muscles, not greater speed, but the remarkable ability to trust people beyond our own families, to build alliances, to share knowledge, to work together long before cities, governments, or civilizations ever existed. In many ways, those ancient relationships became the world's very first social network. Toba taught humanity a brutal lesson. When nature turns against you, strength alone is never enough. The species that survives is the one that learns faster, adapts sooner, and stands together when everything else is falling apart. Eventually, after decades of darkness, the ash began to settle. Little by little, sunlight returned to a quieter, colder, and emptier world. You step out of your shelter for the first time in what feels like a lifetime. You take a slow, deep breath. The air is finally clean. For the first time in years, you can see the sky again. Against every imaginable odd, you survived. You endured one of the greatest natural catastrophes our species has ever faced. Every breath you take today, every thought that crosses your mind, even the simple fact that you're watching this video may be part of the legacy left behind by those few thousand resilient survivors. They refused to surrender during humanity's darkest years. They chose to keep going. And because they did, you are here. Today, Lake Toba is one of the most breathtaking places in Indonesia. Its crystal blue waters reflect peaceful skies. Visitors come from around the world to admire its beauty. It's hard to imagine that this tranquil lake was once the heart of a catastrophe powerful enough to reshape the course of human history. Beneath those calm waters, the giant still sleeps. No one knows when, or if, it will ever awaken again. But one thing is certain: we are the descendants of the people who faced it once and survived. We are the children of ash, and against all odds, we are still here.